Morning.
Good morning, Kathy. We have a quorum. I have everybody checked in. The only person we're missing right now is Andy. I don't know if he's going to attend or not. So it's up to you if you want to call the meeting to order as vice chair.
I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. I can't find my agenda, so if you want to, can't quite remember it, what the order is.
All right, so roll call. I've done roll call, and then we have approval of the minutes.
All right, can I get everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Any questions or concerns? All right, motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved by Liz, seconded by PJ, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries.
All right, public comment next. I have nobody who had reached out and wanted to address the board, so no public comment at this time. I don't believe there's anybody that wants to speak.
Anyone else? No one else is on. Okay, we'll move on to what's the next item? Sorry.
Next is the secretary's report. So right now we have 140 blighted properties, 23 of which are under some level of intervention by the owner or the Erie Land Bank or the Redevelopment Authority. The Erie Land Bank put together the 2021 work plan, the proposed work plan. 23 properties identified on that work plan. 21 of those are on the blighted property list. The other 2 were on the 2020 judicial tax sale in February that the land bank acquired through the tax sale. So that list has been submitted to the Erie County Land Bank for funding approval. So if we get funding approval on that, the Erie Land Bank will move on those properties next month. So that, I guess that'll conclude my secretary's report.
Okay, I found my agenda now. Any correspondence, Aaron?
I had some correspondence with the owner of 560 East 9th Street and 602 East 11th. Those were the 2 commercial properties that we declared blighted last month. Several conversations with him in regards to what he needs to do to work on getting his properties off the blighted list. He was delinquent on taxes, had some water, sewer, and garbage bills. Of course, the multitude of property maintenance issues on the exterior. So I asked him to put together, basically a timeline of his intentions for the property. So he did finally get those mailed in and put together a timeline of when he plans to pay the delinquent taxes. Pretty much puts together within 9 months, he plans to have the taxes brought current and to have at least a significant amount of the property maintenance violations on the exterior of the property rehabilitated. So I added those to the file, and we'll work on following up with him, as the timeline proceeds and make sure he meets what he said he was going to do. And then 1132 Cascade Street, another property on the blighted property list that Mike and I met with the owner a few months back. He reached out again a couple weeks ago just to touch base and let me know that he is moving forward with his plans for the demolition and construction of a new structure on that property. And he just wanted to update the file that he is still moving forward on that.
Okay. Doesn't look like there's any old business.
No old business this month.
All right, we'll move into new business, properties for declaration of blight. Mike?
Okay, good morning, everyone. First up, we have 2236 Warfel Avenue. The water has been off since 2014. We've sent notices in January of 19, April of 19, October of 19, April of this year. There were quality of life tickets issued in April of 19, November of 19, and April of last year. And they were cited in August of 2020. This one has a little bit of a background. The recent owner just took possession in last August, and typically I like to give a new owner time to see if they're going to do anything. But the reason I'm presenting this one in lieu of that is because it's changed ownerships 3 times in the last 3 years. The original owner had it in 1993. They passed away, and then it was bought off a tax sale in 18, and then sold again in 19, and then bought off a quick claim deed in August. So my fear is it's just going to keep happening as the building deteriorates. I spoke with the owner. She responded to my repair demo order. She's from Staten Island, New York, and she had hired a contractor to do some work. He put a metal roof on and then took off with the rest of her money, a metal roof on the main structure, not the rear structure. And she was trying to get some more work done and calling around for contractors to do repairs. But in my opinion, this structure is beyond any cost-effective repair. I'm not sure she's even seen the property. She's calling me from New York. I think she bought it off a quick claim deed and was talking to contractors up here. And unfortunately, she might have gotten taken advantage of.
Just out of curiosity, how does that happen? Is someone just posting it on like Facebook for sale, or do you know?
This was a quick claim deed, so it could have been somebody she knew, a friend of a friend, word of mouth. Quick claim deeds are not the best way to buy a property, in my opinion. There's no research done on it. It's just a here it is type of thing.
Okay, sorry, PJ, were you going to motion?
No, actually, I had a question. I just wanted to know if she'd ever spoken about what her intent was with the property. And I just wanted to talk to Michael and say that quick claim deeds are, I wanted to agree that that's not always the best way to go.
So I've spoken with her a couple times and she seems cooperative, but she's already had essentially her money stolen. I mean, the contractor took the money and didn't do the work. To me, that's stealing. She wanted to fix it up, so she was going to call around to get more prices. And I told her that, you know, by far that's her prerogative, but I think she's going to be surprised at the repair prices as opposed to the demolition prices. So she was doing that. And then she called me yesterday morning and agreed with me and was looking to get it demolished if she could come up with the funding. And I think she may, but I'm presenting it for a blight designation just to make sure it happens because it's deteriorating every day.
Yeah.
I'll move to blight.
Motion by PJ. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Angela seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, motion carries.
Okay, next up, we have 1340 Lynn Street. Now, this one, I think it's been another start and stop issue. I did issue a repair demo order and they did start cleaning it up and they were going to come in for a permit, which they may, but the owners had it for quite a while. I want to make sure that they continue on and they may, but I think a blight designation gives us a little insurance that they will. They do have water, but they do not have electric. Both of the meters are pulled. So they're going to have to work with Penelec to get that turned on. We've sent notices in March of 19, June of 19, July of 20, and repair demo order in April of this year. We get a lot of complaints on this one from surrounding neighbors, mostly because of the junk and debris on the porch and on the back porch. There is some evidence that they are working on it, but it's very, very slow and far and few in between. My main issue is the second story porch. They did some temporary support there, but the wood that they tied it into is rotted, and I'm not sure of its effectiveness. So they were advised to get a building permit and have the building inspector come out and take a look at it.
All right, any questions or a motion to blight?
I'll make the motion.
Rich, Aaron, second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up, I have 653 East 8th Street. This one has another collapsing porch issue, and this is only a first-story porch, though. The water's been off since 2016, and back taxes are owed since 2019 and over $2,000. It's a vacant, single-family. We've sent notices out last July, this March, as well as this April, and none were responded to. You see the roof there has got some significant water damage, and it's gone through to the floor to where the foundation of the porch in front of the house is compromised as well. And in this one, I don't think anyone's even been on this property in quite a while.
Any questions?
There's the foundation issue I was referring to. I believe that's water damage from the roof leaking up above it and trickling down through the floor joists.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, a question. Did you say that, I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you say you spoke to the owners? I mean, what?
No, they're not. They haven't responded to any of our notices.
Okay.
The last one property was the one where I spoke to the owners.
All right. Can I get a motion to blight?
I'll move to blight.
Rich, motion, second.
Second from Liz.
I think you muted yourself there, Kathy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, next up, I have 826 Wayne. This one's been vacant for quite a while. Water has been off since May of 2017. The taxes are current, but it is vacant. It's a two-family dwelling. We've sent notices in August of 18, March of 20, July of 20, and March of this year with no response. This is another one I think where the owner is trying to sell it or has sold it on land contract and it keeps coming back to him, but nothing ever gets done to it. The backyard's become a dumping ground. I'm not even sure it's all from this building. I think people from the neighborhood are dumping junk and debris back there.
Michael, we've had a number of issues with this particular landlord, have we not? Because this Puro Real Estate is familiar to me.
Yes, we have. I think this is the third property I presented myself for blight, and they seem to do a lot of land contract type things, and that those hardly ever work out well. I think a couple of his other properties, the land contract purchaser is actually moving forward and making progress, but I haven't seen this one touched at all in probably at least 2 years.
And this is, Michael, this is on a block that has a number of blighted properties already, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. This is the
Yeah,
one that,
there's 3 just on that side of the street on the same block alone, further north. I guess this would be the third one. There's 2 next to each other further north.
mm-hmm. And then I think the redevelopment authority owns the vacant lot on the corner.
Correct.
And yeah, so it's a tough block. But across the street, the homes are in pretty good condition. They're smaller homes.
Yeah, the people across the street on the east side of the street they take very good care of their property, and we get calls because they have to look at this.
I'll move to blight.
PJ motions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Angela, second.
Angela.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, next up, we have 261 East 33rd Street. The owner of this one has had it since 2010. there's a collapsing garage in the back. There's an abandoned camper or RV, whatever it's called there. It's been there for a long time. It's been without water since 2008. The taxes are current on it, but they have not responded to any of our notices dating back to June of 2016, April of 18, May of 19. A repair demo order was issued in March of this year, and they were cited in May of 2018 with a no-show and a guilty verdict. That garage in the back is collapsing. There's no foundation under the back steps on that back entry area at all. That's collapsing as well. It's in a nice area. It would be a nice rehab if someone wanted to take on that chore. It's a solid brick building, but the roof is compromised. And then usually we have to send notices out. When we send notices to cut the grass, they do come and do that. But it's usually a couple times a year where the grass is, 3-4 feet high. And a lot of times that back there gets covered in vines and the building in front gets covered in vines. So they do respond to our grass cutting notices, but that's about it.
Sorry, what was the address on this one?
261 East 33rd Street.
Thank you, I missed that.
This Gabrielle Properties, the owner, do you get a lot of their properties, or is this a unique one?
This is the first one I've came across. The Don Crenshaw I believe Don Crenshaw is ahead of that. He has a couple different businesses. I'm not sure. I think he might have one or two more on the blight list. Is that true, Aaron?
Yes, I think they're under Zach Associates.
Yeah, he has multiple businesses that he has properties under.
Okay. Okay, any questions, or is there a motion?
Motion to blight.
Motion by Aaron. Is there a second?
Second
I'll second.
from Liz.
Second by Liz. Just beat you out, Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
And then lastly, I have 212 East 30th Street. This was another start and stop property. They started doing work to it a couple years ago and then stopped. At one point in time, it was a rental and there were tenants in there and they left, and then the owner did some repairs and then disappeared. They've owned it for quite a while. There's back taxes owed since 2019. The water is on and current, but I spoke with the water authority. There's $800 owed on the water and $1,421 owed on the sewer. It would be turned off, but they're not doing shutoffs due to the COVID restrictions. If it wasn't for that, they would be without water as well. We've sent notices in June of 17 twice. The one notice we sent in the mail was returned, so then we posted it to the door in 17. And then July of 18, we sent another notice. In July of 20, we've sent notices. They were cited in 18, pled guilty and paid the fine. Cited in 19, pled guilty and paid the fine. And then we issued a repair demo order in March of this year. I can't tell if this one is occupied. I'm going to assume it's occupied because it's very unsafe with that front door boarded up if people were in there. I kind of tried to see what I could see and I didn't see any evidence of people being there. But with utilities on, it's hard to tell.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to blight.
Aaron, motion. Is there a second, Rich?
Yes.
Rich seconded. Give him one. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Motion carried.
And that's all I have for today. Thank you. One other thing, Angela, you asked me to look at a property on West 11th Street. I have some updates if you want to call me after the meeting or email me. I can shoot you an email.
Oh, sure, yeah, I noticed some trash bags outside it, so.
Yeah, we're getting some movement there. They responded to my repair demo order, and I think they're going to come through. I hope. Sounds like they sound sincere in their intent.
That's good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Sure. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, real quick, Aaron, I missed the property report. Could you do the list again of how many are on the blight list? And
Currently, we have 140 blighted properties. 23 have been identified being under some kind of level of intervention by the owners. That includes the Erie Land Bank and the Redevelopment Authority as owners. And 21 of the 23 identified on the Erie Land Bank 2021 work plan are on the blighted property list.
okay, thank you. All right, anything else go to the order? Liz?
I had a couple of updates and some observations. First of all, we should be getting 2 new people on BPRC to replace Howard Bibbs and John Reitinger. City Council approves those appointments, so I hope those new people will be on next month. Second of all, this is a compliment because anytime I have asked Aaron for information, he gets it to me immediately, either during the meeting or later on. And so I want to thank Aaron for that. And also Kathy Rosdick provided some guidance when I responded to a complaint about a huge amount of junk in somebody's backyard where you couldn't see it from the street. And I took photos, and Kathy, helped me give information to the people about how to bring it to the attention of code. And Moss Sela, I also sent him the photos, and he also followed through. So it was really good response to a situation where I wasn't quite sure how to proceed. When I was looking at the properties, before the meeting, the Long Island one really caught my eye because I was wondering how this person get involved in this. And so I'm going to make an ask, but again, no rush on this. I've been in some meetings informal meetings where someone said, well, most of these properties must be absentee landlords. And I said, well, no, not necessarily. I might have said this already last month, that there are people who inherit a property and then let it, just fall apart. But maybe somewhere down the road, it'd be good if we had sort of a catalog of how many of these properties are owned by, local, landlords, landladies, out of town, and then just, regular people who let them fall into repair, just so we can get sort of a picture of that. I attended the Pennsylvania Municipal League meeting, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, on Zoom, including the Northwest Regional Pennsylvania Municipal League. And we had an update on some legislation that would require additional things that you would have to, I don't know if it was list or investigate if you're acquiring properties through tax sales, to try and address the blight issue. And kind of going back to that Long Island person, I think one of the things I've learned by talking to Dave Mitchell, the mayor of Corey, is that, and I don't know if it was quick claim, but this isn't just happening in Erie where people are acquiring properties and then they see it, hey, this looks like a great bargain, and then they let them just kind of fall apart. So anyhow, so there's some things happening at the state level that I think would help with blight. I also like the fact that, I've between BPRC and the Land Bank and the Redevelopment Authority, the thing is coming into focus about how to address these properties before they get to the point where they can't be rehabbed. We talked about that the other day at the Redevelopment Authority. It also strikes me that, I don't know how we would do this, but that one flat where the person is working on it and the second floor porch is collapsing, there's people, I don't know who that owner is, but they may buy something with the best of intentions that they're going to rehab this. I mean, we see it with the repository sales. So more than just financial resources, it also seems like somehow we need some type of educational resources to actually let people know what they're getting into when they're well-intentioned people who are saying, hey, I'm going to fix this up for myself or my relative, or just because I would like to have some income property, especially with, I just had my garage roof repaired, and I think at, what was the meeting the other day? Redevelopment Authority. Somebody had decided not to go ahead with a business facade repair because the price of construction materials is escalating. So, but even absent that escalating cost, I think pre-COVID, there were some workshops through some of the neighborhood organizations about rehabbing properties, and maybe post-COVID, they can take up that mantle again, because you need to have some idea of, if, unless you're going to go and get your own construction experience, it's a big chore to take that on. So anyhow, that was just a recap. Thank you for all you do. Let's keep moving forward on how to have a global look at how to address blight. And let's think about, how do you help those people who are kind of like knee deep into a money pit kind of property? So thank you. Oh, and the fourth thing is that those new bodies will be, new members will be coming to the committee.
Okay, great. Thank you,
Thank you.
Liz. And PJ, are you going to be staying on BPRC? Are you going to be able to do both? I mean,
My
I don't
understanding,
think there's,
yeah,
Go ahead.
my understanding is yes. I haven't been told otherwise by the city solicitor that there's a conflict, but I will stay on as long as I'm permitted to do so. But I did tell the city that I would resign this if I had to, in order to take my seat on the zoning hearing board, but nobody ever got back to me. So
I don't believe there's a conflict at all, PJ. It was more of a time, if you had the time to do both. I wanted to make sure you had the time to do both. And if you are, I think it would be appropriate and great for consistency for you to stay on the BPRC as well.
I
There
did
should
have-
be a
oh,
conflict. I'm sorry, there's really no business that the BPRC does that would intertwine with the zoning hearing board. But go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I apologize. I wanted to add some context to what Liz was saying, just to give everybody an idea of the importance of the work that we're doing here, given the housing shortage. I wrote something down this morning that we have 700 real estate agents in our multiple listing service, and we represent both Erie and Crawford counties. And there are 265 residential active listings in both counties. That's it. In the city of Erie, there's only 83 active residential listings in the city of Erie. So the sooner that we could get some of these properties, with a livable place, the better, because we are seeing property selling for $22,000 over asking. We had a property the other day. It wasn't in the city, but we did have a property the other day that within 24 hours had 111 showings. So, I mean, we cannot get enough houses sold quickly. So I don't mean to belabor the point, but we really need some housing on the market, especially in the city. So.
Great, thank you.
One thing I would add from a code enforcement perspective, I would warn anyone that is taking on a rehab project to be careful, because the price of material to say it's gone up is an understatement. It is through the roof right now. And I've talked to a couple lumber suppliers, and they think it's going to be like that for another year. So like, along with what Liz said, as far as educating people, if you are going to take on a rehab project, make sure it doesn't end up on my list, because you can't afford the material to rehab it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. All right, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. No one wants to end?
I'll move to adjourn.
All right, PJ, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
The Rich seconds, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, you too.